to sing a song that old was sung. From ashes ancient gower is come, assuming man's infirmities to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holidays, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restoratives. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo altiquios eo melius. If you, born in these latter times, when wit's more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This antic then, Antiochus the Great, built up the city for his chiefest seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a peer, who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face, as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, whose father to entice his own to evil should be done by none. But custom what they did begin was with long use accounted no sin. The beauty of this sinful day made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage, pleasures, playfellow. Which to prevent he made a law, to keep her still and man in awe, that whoso asked for her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. So for her many a wight did die, as yon grim looks so testify. What now ensues to the judgment of your eye, I give my cause, who best can justify. Young Prince of Tyre, you have at large received the danger of the task you undertake. I have Antiochus, and with a soul emboldened with the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise. Music! Bring in our daughter, clothed like a bride, for embracements even of Jove himself, at whose conception till Lucina reigned, nature this dowry gave. To glad her presence, the Senate house of planets all did sit, to knit in her their best perfections. See where she comes, apparelled like the spring, graces her subjects and her thoughts. The king of every virtue gives renown to men. Her face, the book of praises, where is read nothing but curious pleasures, as from thence sorrow were ever raised, and testy wrath could never be her mild companion. You gods that made me man, and swain love, that have inflamed desire in my breast, to test the fruit of yon celestial tree, or die in the adventure, be my helps, as I am son and servant to your will, to compass such a boundless happiness. Prince Pericles, that would be son to great Antiochus. Before thee stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to be touched, for death-like dragons here affright thee hard. Her face, like heaven, enticeth thee to view, her countless glory, which desert must gain, and which without desert, because thine eye presumes to reach all, the whole heap must die. Yon sometimes famous princes like thyself drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell thee with speechless tongues and semblance pale, that without covering save yon field of stars, here they stand martyrs slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist, for going on death's net, whom none resist. Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by whose fearful objects to prepare this body like to them to what I must. For death remembered should be like a mirror, who tells us life's but breath to trusted error. I'll make my will then, and as sick men do, who know the world, see heaven, but feeling woe, gripe not at earthly joys as erst they did. So I bequeath a happy peace to you, and all good men, as every prince should do. My riches to the earth from whence they came, but my unspotted fire of love to you. Thus ready for the way of life, for death I wait the sharpest blow, Antiochus. Scorning advice, read the conclusion, and which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed, and these before thee thou thyself shalt bleed. Of all side yet mayst thou prove prosperous, of all side yet I wish thee happiness. Like a bold champion I assume the lists, nor ask advice of any other thought but faithfulness and courage. The riddle. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh which did me breed. I sought a husband, in which labor I found that kindness in a father. He's father, son, and husband mild. I mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may be, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you. Sharp physic is the last, but oh, you powers that gives heaven countless eyes to view men's acts, why cloud they not their sight perpetually, if this be true, which makes me pale to read it? Fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. But I must tell you now, my thoughts revolt. But he's no man on whom perfections wait, that knowing sin within will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your sense the strings who fingered to make man his lawful music, would draw heaven down and all the gods to hearken, but being played upon before your time, hell only danceth at so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you. Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life, for that's an article within our laws, dangerous as the rest. Your time's expired. Either expound now or receive your sentence. Great King, few love to hear the sins they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell, who has a book of all that monarchs do. He's more secure to keep it shut than shown, for vice repeated is like the wandering wind, blows dust in others' eyes to spread itself, and yet the end of all is but this thus dear. The breath is gone, and the sore eyes see clear, to stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole casts carped hills towards heaven, to tell the earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it. Kings are earth's gods, in vice, their laws, their will. And if Jove stray, who dares say Jove doth ill? It is enough, you know, and it is fit, what being more known grows worse, to smother it. I'll love the womb that there first being bred, then give my tongue like leave to love my head. Heaven, that I had thy head! He has found the meaning, but I will glose with him, young Prince of Tyre. Though by the tenor of our strict edict your exposition misinterpreting, we might proceed to cancel of your days, yet hope, succeeding from so fair a tree as your fair self doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer we do respite you, if by which time our secret be undone, this mercy shows real joy in such a son. And until then you entertain shall be as doth befit our honor and your worth. How courtesy would seem to cover sin, when what is done is like an hypocrite, the which is good in nothing but in sight. If it be true that I interpret false, then were it certain you were not so bad as with foul incest to abuse your soul. For now you're both a father and a son, but your untimely claspings with your child, which pleasures fits a husband, not a father. And she an eater of her mother's flesh, by the defiling of her parents' bed, and both like serpents are, who, though they feed on sweetest flowers, yet they poison breed. Antioch, farewell, for wisdom sees those men blush not in actions blacker than the night, who shun no course to keep them from the light. One sin I know, another doth provoke. Murder's as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin, aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then lest my life be cropped to keep you clear, by flight I'll shun the danger which I fear. He hath found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet forth my infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this price must die, for by his fall but my honor must keep high, who attends us there. Doth your highness call? Thaliad, you are of our chamber, Thaliard, and our mind partakes of private actions to your secrecy, and for your faithfulness we will advance you, Thaliard. Behold, here's poison and here's gold. We hate the Prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask the reason why, because we bid it. Say, is it done? My lord, 'tis done. Enough. Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste. My lord, Prince Pericles is fled. As thou wilt live, I fly after, and like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at. So thou never return unless thou say Prince Pericles is dead. My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So farewell to your highness. Thaliad, adieu. 'Tis Pericles be dead. My heart can lend no succor to my head. Let none disturb us. Why should this change of thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, be my so used a guestess not an hour, and the day's glorious walk or peaceful night. The tomb where grief should sleep can breed me quiet. Here, pleasures court mine eyes, and mine eyes shun them. And danger, which I feared, is at Antioch, whose arm seems far too short to hit me here. Yet neither pleasure's art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me. Then it is thus the passions of the mind, that have their first conception by mystery dread, have after nourishment and life by care, and what was first but fear what might be done, grows elder now and cares it be not done. And so with me, the great Antiochus, against whom I am too little to contend, since he so great can make his will his act, will think me speaking, though I swear to silence, nor boots it me to say I honor, if he suspect I may dishonor him, and what may make him blush in being known. He'll stop the course by which it might be known. With hostile forces he'll o'erspread the land, and with the ostent of war will look so huge, amazement shall drive courage from the state. Our men be vanquished ere they do resist, and subjects punished that ne'er thought offence. Which care of them, not pity of myself, who am no more but as the tops of trees, which fence the roots they grow by, and defend them makes both my body pine and soul to languish, and punish that before that he would punish. Joy and all comfort in your sacred breast, and keep your mind till you return to us peaceful and comfortable. Peace, peace, and give experience tongue. They do abuse the king that flatter him, for flattery is the bellows blows up sin, the thing that which is flattered but a spark, to which that wind gives heat and stronger glowing. Whereas reproof, obedient and in order, fits kings as they are men, for they may err. When Signor Sooth here does proclaim peace, he flatters you, makes war upon your life. Prince, pardon me, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees. All leave us else, but let your cares o'erlook what shipping and what ladings in our haven, and then return to us. Helicanus, thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks? An angry brow, dread lord. If there be such a dart in prince's frowns, how durst thy tongue move anger to a face? How dares the plants look up to heaven, from whence they have their nourishment? Thou knowest I have power to take thy life from thee. I have ground the axe myself. Do but you strike the blow. Rise, prithee rise. Sit down, thou art no flatterer. I thank thee for it, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears hear their faults hid. Fit counsellor and servant for a prince, who by thy wisdom makes a prince thy servant. What wouldst thou have me do? To bear with patience such griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself. Thou speakest like a physician, Helicanus, that ministers a potion unto me, that thou wouldst tremble to receive thyself. Attend me then. I went to Antioch, where, as thou knowest, against the face of death I sought the purchase of a glorious beauty, from whence an issue I might propagate. our alms to princes and bring joys to subjects. Her face was to mine eye beyond all wonder. The rest, hark at mine ear, as black as incest, which by my knowledge found the sinful father seemed not to strike but smooth. But thou knowest this. 'Tis time to fear when tyrant seems to kiss, which fear so grew in me I hither fled under the covering of a careful knight, who seemed my good protector, and being here bethought me what was past, what might succeed. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrant's fears decrease not, but grow faster than the years, and should be doubt, as no doubt he doth, that I should open to the listening air. How many worthy princes' bloods were shed to keep his bed of blackness unlaid ope? To lop that doubt he'll fill this land with arms, and make pretence of wrong that I have done him, when all for mine, if I may call offence, must feel war's blow, who spares not innocence, which love to all of which thyself art one, who now reprovest me for it. Alas, sir, drew sleep out of mine eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings into my mind with thousand doubts, how I might stop this tempest ere it came, and finding little comfort to relieve them, I thought it princely charity to grieve for them. Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiochus you fear, and justly too I think you fear the tyrant who, either by public war or private treason, will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, to that his rage and anger be forgot, or to the destinies do cut his thread of life. Your rule direct to any, if to me. They serve not light more faithful than I'll be. I do not doubt thy faith, but should he wrong my liberties in my absence, we'll mingle our bloods together in the earth, from whence we had our being and our birth. Sire, I now look from thee, then, and to Tarsus intend my travel, where I'll hear from thee, and by whose letters I'll dispose myself. The care I had and have of subjects good on thee I lay, whose wisdom's strength can bear it. I'll take thy word for faith, not ask thine oath. Who shuns not to break one will crack both. But in our orbs will live so round and safe that time of both this truth shall ne'er convince. Thou showedst a subject's shine, I, a true prince. So this is Tyre, and this the court. Here must I kill Pericles, King Pericles.
Skinwalker, though, I think.
And if I do it not, I'm sure to be hanged at home. 'Tis dangerous.
I would really like to.
Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow and had good discretion that, being bid to ask what he would be of, what if the king desired he might know none of his secrets. Now do I see he had some reason for it, for if a king bid a man to be a villain, he's bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Husht! Here comes the lords of Tyre. You shall not need my fellow peers of Tyre further not to question me of your king's departure. His sealed commission left in trust with me does speak sufficiently he's gone to travel. How? The king gone? If further yet you will be satisfied, why, as it were, unlicensed of your loves, he would depart. I'll give some light unto you, being at Antioch. What from Antioch? Royal Antiochus, on what cause I know not, took some displeasure at him, at least he judged so, and doubting lest he had erred or sinned to show his sorrow, he'd correct himself. So he puts himself into the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatened life or death. Well, I perceive I shall not be hanged now, although I would. But since he's gone, the king's seas must please. He escaped the land to perish at the sea. I'll present myself. Peace to the lords of Tyre. Lord Thalia from Antiochus is welcome. From him I come with message on to princely Pericles, but since my landing I have understood your lord has taken himself to unknown travels. Now my message must return from whence it came. We have no reason to desire it. Commanded to our master, not to us, yet ere you shall depart, this we desire, as friends to Antioch, we may feast in Tyre.